And it's time for another matchup in the AF Lager Championship. Let's have a look at the table. So we are back to the second round now. After our little matchup to see whether the Athletic Lager would get through to the second round. Well, it didn't. The Asahi is still there at the bottom of the table. Remembering to the last matchup, we saw the Days Lager move in across past the Rheinbacher, securing its place in the second round there. That's the first half of the second round, all done and tied up. So let's have a look at what happens in the second half. Well, the second half is going to be between these two beers. So, first of all, I've got this one on my left, the Estrella Galicia. Those of you who watched the video where I mentioned this, I've disqualified the Klausthaler dry hopped just because it was way too different to be part of the championship. So I didn't really want to have it in there because it would have been very strange. I'm not re-explaining it anyway. It's in one of the videos. I think it's in the Days versus Rheinbacher video that I explained it. And it's out, which means the beer that it beat, Estrella Galicia, is back in. Because I thought it was quite a decent alcohol-free lager. It was unfortunate to be beaten by the Klausthaler. So it's back in, and it's up against the Madri. So this is where it was originally going to be. Had the Klausthaler been disqualified at the beginning, it would have been Estrella Galicia versus Madri in this round. Anyway, so let's get these poured out into glasses, and we'll see what I think of them. Okay, so the beers are poured, and let's tell you which one is which. So this is which one is which. Okay, that's which one is which. So let's have a little look at these. So the heads are dissipating quite quickly on both of these beers. Let's have a little look at the colour of them. They're both a bit of pale straw with a bit of amber in. I'm saying a little bit more amber in this one than in this one. It's going to be a hard one, I think, this, to decide which one's which out of these two, but I like a challenge. So let's have a swill. Do you have a swill? Not a swill yet. We're doing nosing first, aren't we? So yeah, so is there anything else to say about these? They're both really, really clear. Can't see any bubbles rising to the top on either of them, really. They've got, I don't know, a bit of head retention there, but not much. You can reinvigorate it by swilling it like that, which is fine. Let's reinvigorate this one as well. Oh yeah, so they are coming back, which is nice, which obviously they will do. So yeah, not much else I can say about these. They both look really the same colour, to be honest, but I think this one's a little bit more amber. So let's get a nose on them first of all. So let's get nose in it. Here we go. Ooh, nice and malty, that one. So it's got a nice bit of malt, a nice soft floral smell coming across in it. A little bit syrupy, bit of brown bread. That's got a cracking nose, that one. Smells really nice. Something a little bit medicinal in the background, a little bit chemically. But it does smell. It smells malty, but without smelling like wort. It smells a little bit syrupy. It smells grassy. There's a little bit of citrus in there, a little bit of orange. Got a great nose on it, that one. Let's do this one now. So usually the noses are very different when I go from one to the other. Oh, and that's no exception. This one smells a little bit sweatier. Still got the malt in there. Still a bit citrusy, teeny bit grassy, but it has got a little bit of sweatiness in the smell. Whereas that one hasn't got any sweatiness in the smell. Yeah, this one's got a nicer nose than this one. But it's not a bad smell. This one, it's got a little bit of sweatiness in it, but it is malty. It's a little bit oversweet in the smell. In fact, a lot of syrup. A lot of syrup in that smell, actually. So I'll change a little bit oversweet to a lot oversweet. Yeah, it is quite a sweet nose, that, if you really get into it. It's very syrupy in the nose. This one's not. This one's a little bit more floral, a little more fragrant, a little bit grassier. Anyway, let's have a swill now. Okay, let's go on this one now. Can't wait to taste these. Here we go. Cheers. That's nice, that. So that's got a bit of maltiness up front, a little bit of syrup, a little bit of like marmalade taste. Doesn't taste immediately alcohol free. Nice and smooth. Got a nice little aftertaste as well. Nice bready aftertaste on the finish. Something else in there as well. Something almost like flapjacks. On the finish, just kind of oaty and syrupy, and that's nice. That is nice, that. Impressed with that one. Let's try this one now. Cheers. Also nice. Sweeter. Still got a nice bit of an aftertaste. Not as much of an aftertaste, but it has got more flavour. This one's got a lot of flavour to it. Up front, I'm hit with quite a nice whack of malt, rye bread. Yeah, definitely rye bread with a bit of syrup. It is quite sweet. But it is quite full on. Aftertaste, a bit of an aftertaste there. The aftertaste is a little bit bready. Again, a little bit of those flavours. They have got a similar flavour, these. They've got a similar flavour profile, I reckon. And they're both trying to be like Spanish beer, so that's good. This one's a bit sweeter. I'd say the sweetness in this is a little bit more artificial than the sweetness in this. This has got a real taste of just kind of syrup, just actual syrup, rather than a kind of a syrupy sweetness like the syrup you get tinned pineapples in. This is more like actual syrup that you'd have, like you have syrup on bread or something, or on toast, or on your porridge or something like that. And this has got a little bit of that syrup as well, but it's also got a little bit of an artificial sweetness in it as well. But it has got quite a lot of flavour. This one's got less flavour. Let's have another swill. Try this one again. I am liking the maltiness on this. This does taste like a Spanish beer, but a little bit watered down, but not too watered down. It's not too flavourless. It has got some flavour in it. It's not hitting you in the face with flavour. It's quite low in bitterness. There's a little bit of soft sweetness in it, but not too much. Yeah, I don't know. The flavour that is there is really nice. If this had a bit more flavour, it would be an amazing alcohol-free lager. It really would. It's just a little bit... The flavours are subtle. I wouldn't say it's watery. It's not watery like the Athletic lager was. That tasted watered down. This doesn't taste watered down. It just tastes a little bit weaker. Which is a shame, because if that had a bit more of that flavour that I'm getting when I search for it, if that was stronger in this, it would be a really good beer. So again, it's hard, this. I would have thought it'd be a slam dunk for this one, but I don't know. See, this one's got more of that maltiness. It's also got more of that sweetness. You can kind of tell it's alcohol free, which I don't like. It is tasty though. It's got a nice bit of bitterness to it. Hard. Very hard, this. Let's get the nose again. Yeah, the nose has got a nice bit of maltiness on the nose, and there's some syrup in there, and And there is a bit of, there is a bit of just normal, just syrup that you get in a tin. In there, the sweetness, it doesn't taste, it doesn't smell as artificial as I was thinking. Let's do the nose on this one again. This smells. What is that on the smell now? There's something on the smell that I recognise. It's a bit. It smells a bit like when you're brewing beer. So not necessarily the wort, but when the wort starts fermenting, you get that smell. Almost like, but with a stronger beer. So when I was brewing some of my stronger beers, when I was pouring them into bottles before they'd matured, if that's the word. So before I stored them away for a bit, what they smelled like when they'd just been fermented. I'm getting that smell from this. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Oh, it's got a nice aftertaste though. It's really hard, this. These are both really good. It's very smooth as well, this. It's not that fizzy, not like carbonated. Wow, if this was a little bit stronger in flavour, it would be an amazing alcohol-free lager. Okay, I'm going to come to a conclusion. This is really smooth as well. Right, my conclusion is both of these are really good. This one has something in the taste that tells you it's an alcohol-free lager. And I did say that I would take into account how well they mask the fact they're an alcohol-free lager. Because when you have a lager in the garden, you want to think you're drinking a proper lager. And I think if you drink this in the garden, you'll think it's quite a weak lager. You might think it's a cheap lager. You might think it's like a Carling. Or well, I'll stop myself right there. This is a million times better than Carling. But you might think it's one of those. You know, just like a 4% or a 3%. But you could be fooled, I think, into thinking this is actually a proper lager. This one is clearly an alcohol-free lager. And for that reason, I'm not just going to go for the tastiest alcohol-free lager. I'm going to go for the one that does, you know, alcohol-free lagers are trying to do a job, aren't they, to taste like a lager, to be an alternative to a lager. So I'd say this is a better alternative to a lager than this is, even though this has more flavour. So I'm going to go for that one. And that one's out, but it's a good one, that one. I'm going to guess that's the Estrella Galicia. I'm going to guess that's the Madri, because I remember the Madri had a bit less flavour. The Estrella Galicia, I remember it being good, but having a little bit of that alcohol freeness to it. I'm going to see if I was right, and then I'm going to be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back, and let's have a little look. So yeah, I mean that was the Estrella Galicia there. Nice beer, and that was the Madri. Yeah, both really good. Yeah, Estrella Galicia. After this got knocked, yeah, it does have that alcohol-free sweetness there. Yeah, very much so, straight from the bottle. So I'm glad that I went for this conclusion. That one does taste very much like an alcohol-free beer. I drank the rest of these actually after I thought it had been knocked out and enjoyed them. So I had to get another 4-pack when I realised it was coming back. But I've actually got another can of the normal Estrella 0%. So it might be interesting to do an Estrella Galicia against normal Estrella Damm 0.0%. See which the best Estrella alcohol-free lager is. Because I remember the Estrella Damm at 0% was pretty good as well. So stay tuned for that one. But Madri. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm not trying to put my finger on what it is about the flavour, but there's nothing in it, I don't think, that would make me think it's alcohol-free. It does taste like Madri, which is another good point. And straight from the bottle, it's got a bit more flavour than it had in there. Wow, yeah, Madri, I was impressed last time, I'm impressed again. Madri, alcohol-free Madri is going to be one of the ones to beat. I think it's a really good lager. If you don't believe it, try it yourself. I think it is, anyway. Really good for an alcohol-free lager, should we say? I mean, it's not in the same world as a decent lager, but again, alcohol-free lagers. If I can get anything that's even in the same realm as a decent lager, then I'll be very, very impressed indeed. But let's get this one out of the way. Estrella Galicia, perfectly pleasant, but you can tell it's alcohol-free. And it's a little bit too sweet. This one is just the right amount of sweetness, I think. Just a little bit of subtle sweetness there, bit of subtle maltiness. Would have been nice though if the maltiness was a little bit more up front and there was a little bit more to it. Let's try it again from the glass before I sign off. That is a nice alcohol-free lager, that. So there we go. This could possibly be the yardstick in this championship so far. But we'll see. We'll see. There are other lagers. You never know. On different days, different lagers shine, don't they really? So we'll find out. Anyway, until next time, have a good one.